In your talk this week at the Futures Institute, you called attention to the way in which the present moment, time, in which we're experiencing violence that calls to mind what took place throughout the beginnings of American history in ways that has horrifying consequence. And you suggested that that changes the relation to time, so that instead of feeling as if events that are taking place now are completely separate, it's as if we're feeling a return of something that hadn't been really fully encountered in the historical past. It's a wonderful relation to time that produces temporally the equivalent of kind of double consciousness, where there's simultaneous this illusion that we're living in progressive time, and then there's the consciousness that we're not, that something is constantly repeating itself.
Exactly. Yeah. I think about that a lot now, and I think about it simply because the times we're in are so fearsome. You know, Octavia Butler's Kindred, right? I often think, because I put myself in Dana's place, and I think that's the protagonist, what if I woke up in 1815 instead of 2015? And I think, oh my goodness, if I could slip back, or if by error I got back there like the character in that novel, that it would be simply awful, right? So I live with those times, right? And I think our writers have made that kind of simultaneity of inhabitation possible. Something like The Known World, Beloved, Kindred, because what they do really is they improve your capacity for empathy or changing places or acting, and sometimes you have to kind of pull yourself out of those spaces because you can really kind of scare yourself, right? Because you realize that if I were at this village in 1815 in Nashville, Tennessee, I would be living in a little house that's on the property that I bought. This house has a spring kitchen, and it has a servant's quarters at the edge of the property that's fallen in, that I want to restore. And the house that I live in was built in the 1830s. Blocks from my house, which is Gallatin Pike now, going into downtown Nashville, people who were enslaved used to be walked down Gallatin, where I now go to the drugstore, the Kroger store, out to sometimes to get a Wendy's hamburger. That's on the route now. So it's very easy to see myself being walked down Main Street rather than driving to Vanderbilt University, being walked to the Slave Mart in Nashville, right? So all that stuff, living in an 1830s or 40s house, it was probably a Confederate's house. We now imagine that, sometimes noises in the night are those Confederate ghosts returning. Yeah, so that stuff is all really very present.
So that's an afterlife of captive you're experiencing. That produces a completely different relation to Renaissance time, doesn't it? Previously, you talked about it as this desire to open out. And now you have this feeling that in order to realize that desire, you almost have to pass through what's motivating it, which is the feeling that we're really not opening out, that something has
returning
because it hasn't yet been encountered.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a hauntology in the deepest
sense. Yeah.
But your writing, the deep affirmation of your writing seems to produce this power to acknowledge it and to literally work imaginatively to find the resources to come to terms with it.
Yeah. That's when because I figured that if you can write it down and can be convincing, then maybe you won't have to live it. That you can just, you can come to an understanding, and then you won't have to die or kill somebody or be killed. That you can live in abundance, you can live in newness because you've now come to an understanding of it. And so I hold out hope that the imagination can do it for us.
And you've given us hope. It's been a privilege to talk with you. Thank you so much, Hortense.